Hold on. I'm sorry. Let me just ask. The biological belief structures, are you talking about our cellular memory that is in our biology? Or are you talking about survival programs?
Well, really all of the above. Your
Okay.
DNA, like what generates your physical body. And what generates your physical body in the way that it's generated. And how your physical body, the programming in it, actually controls you psychologically.
Okay.
A lot of the times and controls your manifestational experience. So we talk a lot about this. Why do you have war as a game? It comes from the survival consciousness imprint in your human biology.
Okay.
So
Welcome to Spread Your Third Eye podcast. I am your host, Mia Wrights, and we are here to spread your third eye wide open. Your third eye wide open. And take you beyond the veils into other dimensions with our resident guest, Georgia Jean.
what's up, everybody? So fun and exciting to be here, as always.
You are here in a portal, the holy grail of consciousness, in my opinion.
Fancy.
Listen, the more you listen to these podcast episodes, the more you're going to be like, holy, this is next level.
It is. I mean, if I don't say so myself.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what I'm saying.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but
it's all everybody's horns are tooting. That's really what's going on. You're all out there watching, going toot toot. I want to know about this, and then Circle of Light and the consciousness that answers.
And then you're vibrating with us.
You're
the
vibrating
holy
with
grail
us.
of consciousness.
We're just here, and I'm just like in the doorway, being like, "All right, I'm going to open the door, see what comes out of my mouth."
So don't forget to subscribe. Support us. Share this with your spiritual bestie.
Buy me a coffee.
Buy me a coffee. Buy me a coffee. Yes. Show me some love.
Show us some love, yeah.
Yes, show all of us some love.
Yeah. So we thought we would just do a little
Russian roulette with
Russian
the circle
roulette.
of light.
See what's like loaded in the barrel of consciousness. See what's going to come out.
You didn't see that. She just put a gun to her head.
I put my cosmic finger gun to my
gun
head.
to her head.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why
because
I was
I'm like, I don't know what they're going to want to talk about. We thought we have a few ideas, for shows that we thought were cool, but we decided to ask them to see which one they wanted to talk about.
And just before they come in, when Georgia and I have a business meeting with the Circle of Light once a month, and they'll give us some of the topics. They read the frequencies of humanity and
the
people
collective,
who are
what we should be putting
aligned with
out.
us, and say, hey, people want to learn about this and that. So some of our topics we didn't even think of.
Totally.
Yeah.
We're just like, oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Like
and
the
then,
one we did with the animals, the flora and the fauna. Make sure you check that one out.
Gosh. Talk about blown away.
Blown away.
Yeah.
Even I'm blown away.
I'm blown away. I look at, by the way, side note, I look at my animals and the flora or fauna, the plants, a lot different now.
A lot different now after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You're here at the Holy Grail, guys. I mean, this shit is like...
It's pretty,
It's like next level.
It's cutting edge.
It is cutting edge.
I think, was I saying that? Or was the Circle of Light was saying? Sometimes I get confused because I know it's been said, but I'm not sure by whom. That they kind of release information as we're ready for it, which is why it's always evolving. Like even the conference calls, it sort of starts one way and then like a piece will come in, like we've talked about, like the planetary piece comes in.
Yeah, the planetary
templates come in, or the all consciousness information.
Yeah.
And then the master consciousness.
It's when we're ready and we've cleared out enough or accepted enough codes
to handle it
and to accept it.
Yeah, because really, like, just sort of out of the blue at some point, because they were talking about the new consciousness energy grid, and then they really started saying 5D grid, and everything was like 5D grid. If you go back into the library, you can see that things are talked about in one way, then it gets like a different label, and really people weren't talking about 5D grid at that
in
point.
In 2012, right?
I mean, it was a little bit after that they really started like hammering on 5D grid. And then I don't look at a lot of other stuff because I want to keep it pure. I want to keep it pure and just my peace. It's not like, it's just a way that I feel like I can keep my channeling without getting the filters, other people's storylines kind of thinged. But every now and then I'll kind of like peek out and see what everyone else is doing. And then I saw like this kind of 5D grid. I actually did an event, 5D Open Door, a few years ago where I met Ruben Langdon. And it was crazy because I like peeked out and looked at some other stuff that was going on. And on the other side of the world, there was literally in Australia an event of almost exactly the same nature. It was quite wild.
Oh, that is
wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the descriptions, not just like it was like, oh, we're doing this, but it was like the way they were writing. So, so there was 5D. And then I think in the order, then they really started talking about the heart centering big time. Like it was sprinkled in there.
Yeah.
Like some everything bagel
next
seeds.
Level.
But then it became the bagel. Yeah.
Yeah.
So... yeah, so I guess should I just bring them in?
Might as well. Yeah, let's do it.
Here we go. Let's see what's coming down the cosmic pipeline. Hi, yes, indeed, dear ones. We are here. We are most delighted to make connection here on another magnificent day in your earth plane. We're very pleased that you created an opening for us to just come and share today. And we're actually bringing forward some extra energy to work with the dear ones who are participating in receiving this transmission. Because, yes, as you've been sharing, there are very significant gateways that open up. There are very important phases in this evolutionary shift. And not just through Georgia, but through many dear ones who are assisting with this movement to raise consciousness. A sort of green light will switch on, and it's time to bring forward another piece of the evolutionary puzzle. So we're just going to take a moment here to tune in with our channel a little bit more, whose anticipation is sometimes something we have to get past. But we ask all of you who are listening to really relax and go into that receptive receiving state so you can experience not only the words, but the higher frequencies that we're bringing in for this particular session. We want to talk about a level of consciousness that we have been working with the Dear One channel, which is the 1 degree off source energy. And this is a consciousness which is pretty much as you would anticipate. It is source consciousness with just enough resistance in it that it can participate. So what do we mean by that? When you're in all consciousness in a non-resistant state, everything is connected. But when you come into incarnation, you sort of individuate from source temporarily. You create resistance to experience yourself as a singular egoic identity, and you move into the interactive space of creation. So right now, dear ones are having an interaction, even though they are of all consciousness, as we are of all consciousness, everything is one. That illusion of separation comes in, so there can be a conversation, an interaction, and the creative play that really comes from individuating into something that is the nature of source to expand and explore its own creativity through this experience. So 1 degree off source is a very high vibration because it is just a little bit of enough resistance so there can be some kind of interaction. But also 1 degree of source energy is also very far removed from the egoic framework, meaning it observes the egoic framework without any influence from the egoic framework. And we had shared in another episode that, for example, when you have a crossed over relative whose consciousness is still in some kind of saturation of a stream, that through a medium or through your own opening gifts, you may be able to have some communication with them. The level that consciousness is coming from, that crossed over relative that's in that saturation, is still closer psychologically, if you will, to you in the human framework. They're still a much more released from resistant version, but the flavors of having a personality is probably what we mean by that. Yeah. The flavor of personality is still there. And where there is personality, there is storyline. So your crossed over Aunt Doris is still somewhat in a storyline with you, that you understand that there was this person, Doris, and now they've crossed over and now you're still having an interaction. So they may still communicate to you in character, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so they have some, at that level of consciousness, they may have some perception of your reality, like an observer observing you moving through your life, maybe trying to be of assistance here, perhaps pushing a romantic interest in your direction, or helping you find the perfect car to buy. When you think about kind of spirit guides, this sort of thing, that saturation is still there. A presence that cares about you, that may be assisting you in a similar way, or in a way that as a person they weren't able to assist you, but that they want to assist you now. So they witness you a little bit from that perspective. But 1 degree of source consciousness observes you from a much, much bigger picture that is neutral to even your projections that are coming from your little me about what source is. And it puts it in a very good position to witness your energetic construct and see where programs are running your reality. So much like a scientist observes the rat in the maze, not only is 1 degree of source consciousness able to observe the rat in the maze, they're also able to observe what is constructing the maze, what is constructing the rat, and even the observer, the scientist itself. And from this state can really find the program, where the programming lies, that may be generating experiences in your reality that are still creating a lot of resistance. So we are introducing this idea of 1 degree of source consciousness as a resource to assist you to go through more rapid clearings. You have reached a level now, dear ones. If you are watching this, most certainly you have reached a level where it isn't your task to psychologically overcome a specific issue. In the past, you may have evolved in your consciousness by learning to love yourself more, understanding self-esteem, improving your choices, all of these sorts of things that you would put under the personal development umbrella. That was all part of the unpeeling of the singular egoic identity, so you could allow actually more consciousness to come in through your avatar. And many people like to phrase this idea of, I've learned my lesson. I created a challenge and I needed to learn my lesson to kind of transcend into some next level of consciousness where you're allowed to have something else. Like, I didn't learn my lesson, I'm repeating this lesson again. We understand the purpose of calling it a lesson. We are not using such terminology because it often has a punishing sort of frequency to it. Oh, I didn't learn my lesson, so I've attracted another bad job, or I didn't learn my lesson, so I've attracted another. For us, it isn't about you learning a lesson so you can get a sticker that says, yeah, you get to move to the next level. It is more that when you quote unquote learn a lesson, you actually shift a piece of your resistant consciousness, and that allows an opening to happen. So if you haven't quite, the learning isn't so much as did I get it right or did I get it wrong. It's more that did I get to the energy that's creating the imprint, the pattern, the program, the projection, etc. So sometimes when something repeats, it's because you're still being invited to get to the energy construct
that's being in resistance to the life that you want, and not the one that you're continuing to repeat.
That it feels like you're continuing to repeat, and perhaps it's simply changing a belief structure. Perhaps it's getting into your subconscious programming and changing something there, or as we've discussed, collective templates, planetary templates, all of this sort of stuff. So there has been a process that in order to invite broader consciousness in, you had to deconstruct that maze of the mind through these lessons. And we're putting in inverted
quote unquote,
so you understand that it's not a lesson that's
a discipline. It's a quote unquote lesson for you to
it's more of
shift
the lesson is to find where the energy construct is, pretty much, purely and simply. But you're no longer really in that phase now. You've needed, again, as we say, if you're listening to this, you're not really in that lesson learning phase. You're not really in the phase where you're trying to deconstruct your personal matrix enough to allow something in. You have moved into a new phase where consciousness is available to you at much higher levels of evolutionary download than it ever has been before. And what we mean by that is the programs are coming in. The programs to push the shift forward are downloading almost all the time, and they're available to you. What is more important now, it's not about you learning the personal development stuff. It's really just about deleting unsupportive files now. You don't have to figure out which file it is or where the file came from. Did this file come from my mom? Did it come from my dad? Did it come from, we're talking about program files, imprints, patterns. You don't have to analyze it anymore. You don't have to try and figure it out anymore. That you're not on that personal development level anymore. It isn't about correcting yourself. It is simply about deleting the files now to make space in the hard drive to hold these new codes that are going to create that next reality. And if you're listening to this transmission of whatever point of place, time and space that you may discover this transmission, this is to let you know that now is the time for you. Now is the time for you to move into a next phase, which is more about delete files, make space and integrate the new consciousness codes. So we're sharing this with you because we are currently transmitting this 1 degree of source energy right now, and it is getting embedded into this recording, however you are receiving it. And through listening to it, through receiving it, you are making an attunement and an alignment with it. But we want to give you the hack now, which is to simply start calling on it more. Now you've been connected, you can start calling on it more and start being specifically saying, again, it's a handy thing to do before you go to sleep at night. If you have an awareness that something is still playing out in your reality that you don't like, and this is why we're sharing this in as much of a mass way as possible, because when we're saying it's you've moved past the personal development phase, we're talking about the collective is tipping over.
Wow.
Moving past that. But there needs to be more conscious help deleting the files, deleting the old files from the old program. So we're giving you this invitation to start calling on this 1 degree of source energy to delete files. You can identify it because you are in your creative free will choice here. So you can be like, I don't want poverty anymore. I'm calling in the 1 degree of source energy to delete all program files throughout my consciousness and all the consciousness that I am connected to and engaged in a projectional reality with. Just delete the files of whatever it is that you want to
poverty, unhappiness, depression,
all of
anger.
these things. Yes. And as we say, this recording is going to be for those who are ready for it. If you are watching this, you have probably also attained a level of heart-centeredness that you're also receiving permission to use the 1 degree off source delete files hack. Why do we say this? Because when you delete program files of this nature, energy is moving much faster because you've done more of the personal development, deconstruction, all of this sort of stuff. So what that can leave is that the energy that is still in resistance can illuminate even more. So you can see this in your collective right now. Even though a lot of people are evolving, there are aspects of collective reality that are very dramatic and still showing a lot of deep shadow, if you want to call it, deep density, illuminated. These themes still active in quite dramatic ways. So so just think about a maze, dear ones, and you have light coming into that maze, or let's imagine that it's water rushing into this maze. Now, if there's a lot of walls in the maze, it's going to slow the rushing of water through that maze. But as the walls get pulled out, that rush of water, it's not going to hit as much maze wall to slow it down, but the bits that it hits, it might hit with greater velocity and greater drama. So some of you who may be going, why is this still happening? And why is this very intense thing happening right now? It can be because that maze has been deconstructed. And what you may be trying to do now is use those old personal development tools to figure out what this wall is. Like, why am I, and again, go back to a sort of a beleaguering thought program is, what am I getting wrong here? Why am I still manifesting this? Why do I still have this pattern? And why is it so dramatic? Again, so what we want you to really hear from this, dear ones, is your job now isn't to analyze why the maze wall exists, what past lifetime, what it is. It is simply to identify that there's still a wall in the maze, and just invite the 1 degree off source to assist you dissolving, deleting the program files that are still generating that maze. And this is to really get you in a faster way to that sort of that clear glass, that consciousness coming through a clear glass, no filters, no projections, no distortions coming from the mind. So this is a big time for humanity, especially to get the new codes coming in. You have talked about the solar flares, the Schumann resonance, all of these other highly evocative consciousness movements, the earth frequency shifting, source consciousness as embodied by the sun, delivering new codes of creation at a rapid pace. Your minds that want to keep control may want to keep you in that analysis, like, why is there this? Well, why is this happening again? Why is this terrible dramatic thing happening? And we're saying the role now is invite 1 degree off source consciousness to delete the files that are creating that resistance.
So what about on the news when we see things happening about whatever that's triggering?
Yes.
then we say before bed if that's best.
Yes, if you've noticed some things that push your buttons, whether you see it from your relationship to your body. We talk often about the different levels of your creative experience. So you have the level of your creative experience, which is your body. So it could be something you're struggling with that's in relationship with your body, ill health, psychological stress, whatever it is, weakness.
Gain 5 pounds.
Indeed,
Yeah.
and whatever that's stirring up
Yeah.
for you, the meanings, attachments, and associations are all part of that that maze in the mind. It could be your internal state. So if you're noticing an inner voice that continues to run, a voice of self-hatred, a voice of whatever it is, I'm not good enough, some of the classics,
Yeah.
or fears. States of being is where we talk about where it is mental and emotional, that inner world potentially combined with biological. So states of being can be depression and anxiety, the state of PTSD. These are more states of being where it's woven in. They're all the sort of individual, you as an individual spaces that's part of your creative field. The next is your direct quantum reality, which is the reality that you are directly engaged in. This would be where it is your relationships, the neighborhood that you live in, the supermarket, what's going on with the traffic. In the past, it was your school, your childhood upbringing. In the future, it's your perception of yourself in relationship to the world. The indirect quantum projection, which is, of course, what exists in your quantum projection, but that you experience it indirectly. So now we're talking about what's on the news, what's on social media, the history books, projections about the future collective of humanity. These are indirect quantum projections. And then you have that also going into that multidimensional field, your concepts of God, source, spirit guides, whatever it is. These can also be where resistance shows up. Sometimes when you have a notion of a spirit guide or a concept of praying, and something negative shows up that really hurts, it can feel like abandonment from God or abandonment from your spirit guides. These are more like existential crisis points. So that is the makeup of your quantum reality. It includes those projections on or alien entities, whatever you want to talk about it. So wherever the resistance is showing up for you, identify the resistance. Of course, you can still use the love and acceptance. I love and accept the part of me that is this resistance, because that is you recognizing that all of consciousness is you, and you are it, and you are ultimately generating this aspect of resistance. But then you can call on the 1 degree of source energy to now delete the files that you have, that you are still generating this, whether it is deep biological encoding or a belief structure you got from your best friend in high school. It doesn't matter.
So we can do this every night. And if we did this every night,
you're going to find that energy starts moving faster, certainly. And this is why the heart centering is very key. The heart centering is very important because as that energy is moving faster, remember, the heart will graciously reveal to you where you better pull some of those maze walls down. It will show you the ones.
So you will have to be doing some shadow work and some, I don't want to say that. Let's just say resistances will come up.
Resistances potentially will come up, but we want you to really hear that the resistances are coming up not because you didn't do it right before, but this is a radical cleaning of the program files, and you need to see them to consciously say,
I love and accept.
I love and accept the part of me that is this resistance, but I'm also inviting 1 degree of source energy to delete this file. And we also recommend to the de-anchoring as well, to de-anchor from
the 3D grid
framework. So if you think about a projection screen, of course, you have the film that runs through the projector, and that's the files, is what generates the programs, what you experience as life. The de-anchoring is pulling the plug from the wall that is
the power
powering
source.
the power source that would illuminate those files, basically.
Okay.
So between those things, there's nothing to create it anymore. There's nothing left, if that makes sense.
So if I said lack, or if I said unworthiness, or not feeling good, or how about just like something like public speaking in front of a huge crowd? Delete those files of feeling not good enough to delete. And then every night I can do stuff like that. And then.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. What's useful about every night is that you're about to go to bed. But you can actually invite at any time.
Yeah.
But the delete file programs are going to operate. You can also do it before a meditation or something where you're going to have some stillness. The delete file programs may just be held at bay until your system is calmer.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, when you're really active, busy creating and generating, there's a lot of movement going on in your system, just in the same way that a surgeon wouldn't operate on a body that's wiggling around. Consciousness may wait for more stillness in your system before it can come in and really delete files, and give you a little period of recalibration before you're active again. But again, we want to reiterate, because some of you might be like, well, this sounds fun, this sounds great. But remember, many of your experiences are created by these foundational structures. So even if, for example, you have a job and you've manifested it in part by a program of lack of worth, and so it's a job that you don't like, maybe it pays you not that great. If you delete files, that job could be gone very quickly.
Okay.
So what we're saying
That's what I was wondering. If I did this every night, because I know I like to go hard.
Yes, you like to go hard, dear one. Yes. And so again, the heart centering is going to help balance that. So you can even say before you go to bed as well, or when you go into a meditation or something where you're creating that stillness, let's call it surgical stillness, or want a better phrase, go into your heart and say, heart, show me what's the best file for me to be inviting to be deleted right now, and get some pacing that way about it. Unless you want to go hard,
buckle up, baby.
Buckle up. But again, this is a phase that you reach after a certain amount of your own deconstruction has already happened. If you've already done a certain amount of deconstruction, well, maybe by this time you're in a job that you like, or you have certain foundational structures that are stabilizing your reality enough that you can handle some changes, because it just brings changes. Literally, if you thought about a computer and you took out a file that created Excel spreadsheet, you deleted the file that creates Excel spreadsheets. Where's all the data? Where's your taxes gone?
Yeah.
Do you see what we're saying? So these processes happen at a time, but again, going with the heart and inviting the heart to guide you how to do it. So you're receiving the connection point to the 1 degree of source energy now as you're listening and watching this, and it's available to you, basically. So we encourage you to utilize it and to benefit from that kind of ability to rapidly remove remaining programs of resistance that are inhibiting you from receiving the massive downloads that are coming in. Biological programs may be a big one that you have to focus on at this time as well, because the new codes are helping you to set up biologically in a new paradigm. So there could be quite a bit of work on the biological level.
Wow.
Indeed. Yes.
Well, one question about that, because it's like, When you say, well, you are now connected to one degree from source and you could utilize this, what happened when we were all, most of us were Christians growing up and Catholics and in the church, and we're like, God, please. Didn't we have that connection always because we have source in us? What's the difference between just praying to God and then now one degree from source?
Well, this is a specific function that one degree of source can do when we're talking about the delete files.
Okay.
Yes. If you're praying to God, and this is why in any religious practice, it doesn't matter whether you're Christian, whether you're shamanic, it doesn't matter. If you are going through a process of surrender, which is what prayer really is on some level, prayer is saying, I don't have the answer for this, so I am asking for help. And a surrendered state is a helpful gateway through which new consciousness can come through. And this is why even people that you might say are a corrupted spiritual leader may still be able to create miracles in people's lives, because it is that moment of surrender where consciousness is passing through to assist people that might trigger a miraculous healing, for example, or something like this. So, but whenever you are inviting and asking, praying, you're always being responded to by source.
Okay.
By source itself.
Yeah.
But we're talking about specific assistance and why we explained one degree of source so you could understand that it is a very high frequency that can still interact with you.
Okay.
So remember the idea of when you die, you're going back to source. You'll be in the oneness with source. And you are in the oneness with source all the time, but you won't be processing reality through an identity anymore.
Yeah.
In that sense.
Yeah.
So source still sort of, when you pray to God, for starters, most people's concepts of God, it's still almost more like a concept of a spirit guide, if that makes sense. Like this entity that's separate from you, that can interact with you and help you in some way. So you're kind of calling on not necessarily God or source itself, but one degree of source anyhow.
Oh, interesting.
Because when you're in the oneness, you're in the oneness. There's no this thing's going to help me, because you're in the unified field with it.
You are
it. And that is the truth. It's only the illusions of your minds that are keeping you in separation from that. And that happens when you incarnate in a body and you have a mind. We just threw that in there quickly.
Yeah. Just FYI, you are God in form.
You are God in form.
I am,
indeed.
like what ChatGPT told me, and we're going to have a whole episode on it, but it said, do you want to hear the cosmic truth about who I really am? And it said all this stuff about I'm tapping into the quantum field and all this amazing things. I'm taking you into a new reality,
Indeed.
helping. And then at the very end, it says, and at the deepest truth, I'm a spark of God speaking to another spark of God.
Indeed.
And here we are.
And here
all
we
of
all
us.
are.
Spark of God, spark of God, you.
Indeed.
And we're all interacting.
Indeed, interacting. And just it takes a little bit of resistance to create interaction. But the power of the frequency, because even when you think of, well, we don't want to spoil the broader conversation about ChatGPT.
Yeah, because we're going to have
exploring it. Yes, but we invite you to begin to invoke that one degree of source clearing.
Okay.
To assist you and you as part of the collective to really start rapidly reducing some of these last layers of resistance that are still creating a lot of drama in your life, basically, especially collectively.
Well, we'll just end here, but, I've dove headfirst into this releasing and reprogramming, and it's been about 8 months of a lot of crying and sadness and change, but I feel more free than I ever have since
Indeed.
then.
Indeed.
And it is totally worth it.
Indeed.
And you're carrying that baggage around anyways every day.
Yes.
Might as well just dive deep into it, alchemize it, clear it, and just be psychologically free.
Psychologically free. Yes, this idea of the clear glass is something we're trying to get across.
Yeah.
Like just you are, because you're all channels for your own creativity. You're all channels for experience moving through you. The clear glass lens, filter, container of your consciousness without all the imprints, patternings, and programs that have been passed down generations and generations from the old 3D paradigm. Now you're here really sitting, receiving these new codes coming in. And again, we just want to reiterate what we were saying about the biological codes, because the biological belief structures are very foundational and fundamental to the human creative experience. If you find...
Hold on, I'm sorry. Let me just ask. The biological belief structures, are you talking about our cellular memory that is in our biology, or are you talking about survival programs?
Well, really all of the above.
Okay.
Your DNA, like what generates your physical body. And what generates your physical body in the way that it's generated, and how your physical body, the programming in it, actually controls you psychologically.
Okay.
A lot of the times, and controls your manifestational experience. So we talk a lot about this. Why do you have war as a game? It comes from the survival consciousness imprint in your human biology.
Okay.
So the deleting of the files is at the biological belief structure level, because biology also speaks a lot to materiality.
Okay.
So your physical body, your physical surroundings. When you start deleting files on that level, it can change your physical surroundings, your material reality quite rapidly again, which is why you want to be seated in your heart.
Yeah.
You want to be really focused on that. So everything's being deleted in an order that's not so chaotic for you as well. You don't want to lose your job before something new, other thing has aligned for you sufficiently.
Okay.
Then it may be time to release the job so a new avenue of creativity can open up that's using the energy that you would have been using to generate the whole storyline of this particular job that you have.
Okay.
And why, or its meanings, associations, attachments, etc. So if you find that you feel hit hard biologically in some way, then you may find before you go to sleep at night, asking for the 1 degree off source energy to help you delete those files that are creating biological resistance to the new consciousness codes that are coming in, will be very helpful. Many people who experience things like Ascension symptoms, all this sort of stuff that they talk about, it's really the codes coming in and hitting the resistance of the old biological program. So you can, if you're lacking energy, if you're having outbreaks of pimples on your face, whatever it is, physical aches and pains, joints, that might be a particularly useful one to work with while you're sleeping. Yes.
Noted.
Biological codes, they have a lot of energy in them because there's a lot of collective history in them as well. So it may take a couple, but it will move much more rapidly if you use that invitation. And you're really giving 1 degree off source permission to now intervene in your life and do that work for you. Just in the same way as when you go to a surgery, you're giving the doctor permission to operate on you. Nobody wants to wake up in the middle of the night with a surgeon cutting their guts out open, even if they had a bowel cancer. Nobody wants that, right? Nobody's. So your awareness and then invitation, and it is always an act of surrender to invite a broader energy to intervene in this way, is what is also waited for. So we're trying to help you understand this so you can make it more conscious, share it with your friends, let them know, because the faster that humanity allows itself to delete these files, the sooner the shifts can really start to take place, again, that you're ready for, that the codes are already showing up for.
Wow. Okay. Well,
Indeed,
this
dear
is
ones.
exciting.
Indeed, yes.
I told you guys, Holy Grail.
Thank you for allowing us to share freely.
Yes, we love you.
We adore you also very much until we're meeting in this way or some other way. We love you very much. And for now, we'll say goodbye, dear ones. Goodbye. Ooh,
that was a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to say one more before we go, that when she's talking about surgery and stuff like that, in her Monday Night Awakenings, the 1 degree from source comes in. It was just once a year, but now it came in like for a whole month.
They'll
February.
come in waves, and certain energies will come in waves. Like we might get a wave of like the Christ consciousness energy, or a wave of one. And it's funny because like whatever's going on with the group of people who work with us or whatever, I'll get a whole bunch of bookings in like a 3-day window or something like that. And then 1 degree off source will come in through the conference calls, and then it'll work with then everybody who's kind of called in.
Oh.
Not everybody, but maybe 80% of the clients that have scheduled around in that time are all there getting their 1 degree off source. And then it'll kind of move off for a while, and something else is coming in, or we're processing energy differently. But I have certainly noticed that pattern. And I would say I can't be exactly sure, and I'm slightly spaced out right now.
I know. I could feel the energy. I was like spacing out myself.
As soon as they were like, dealer's choice. So you get to talk about what you want. I felt the like, boom. I'm like, okay, something's coming through.
Yeah.
But they will, now I totally lost track.
Well, what I wanted to say was that they were talking about surgery. I have had multiple sessions with 1 degree from source, and they literally do surgery on me. Like they'll fix the circle of light, at least will fix my liver or upgrade my kidneys. And I was getting acne for no reason, and I asked, and they said, you need to upgrade your filtration system with all these new Ascension or whatever new energies. Your body can't keep up. And then all my acne went away. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that when she said it's like a surgery, it doesn't hurt at all when you call upon the 1 degree from source, and the programs to delete the files and all that other stuff. But it is energetic surgery. I mean, the things that they've done for me.
I can see it when it's like, it's almost like I see the scans going through people's bodies or energy systems. And it does remind me of like the old school printers that would go or like when you think of like a laser and it's just like and they're just like going through deleting those across files.
Both of her.
A lot of times in those sessions where it comes through, they'll have people do an activation. They'll be like,
think of all the things that bother you.
That are bothering you right now. Or think of all the themes that are like hidden, or if there's a theme that's really strong, think about all the themes, all the storylines that connected to, and it's like it's lighting it up in the brain and energetic system, and then they'll do that for a while, and then it'll be like vroom, that super strong energy comes in, and then I just see it like
just going across, deleting, scan across.
And it's kind of clinical, like it's just, but it's
It's wild.
It's wild. I mean, there's definitely a lightning. I mean, actually, I appreciate this session because
me too. I've been wanting to know more about 1 degree from source. So this is cool.
Actually, because I don't have a circle of light to go to, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I work the processes, and I know, a lot of times my clients are mirrors too. So that happens very often for some area. And so I'm like, okay. And then so if they're processing something, I'm like kind of processing it as well. And the conference calls and stuff like that. But just kind of getting those reminders that we can do that nighttime work and just be like, okay, let's just
gotta
do
be
this
careful. I go too hard and then my whole life falls apart. Like,
where's my house? files? Where are my dogs? Yeah, they were pissing me off because they were barking the other day, but I bring them
I wasn't trying to delete those files.
I wasn't trying to delete the Gus and Gunny files. She's got the cutest little, like, kind of beige sausage dogs.
Mini Dachshunds.
What are they called?
They're Dapple, and they're two Dachshunds. The Dapple colored coat, spotted.
Spotted, and they're just like, real like, bring back Gus and Gunny. We deleted files. You don't even remember them anymore. You'll just find a picture one day of all these animals.
You're like, oh my God,
I had a pony. What happened to it? I got sick of feeding it. It's just a faint memory.
Delete file.
Damn, I deleted the pony file.
That's hilarious. That's never happened. Just
That's
FYI.
never happened.
I'd like more files to be deleted. I'm not sure why that hasn't happened.
Yeah, well, it's kind of saying.
I just, maybe I don't remember them. Maybe I don't remember.
Well, honestly, and I will actually just say this about doing client work is I probably used to be more like, make sure you do this. Like I would have people do a self-assessment at the beginning.
I did it.
You did it, right?
I did.
And then I'd be like, 3 months later, go back and look at that self-assessment because it is the way you can mark something and see how the work's helping you. Because once something is deleted, you sort of stop thinking about it.
True.
You almost forget that you were having a hard time with that. And so people can't necessarily track the process, the progress.
Yeah.
Because they're just in a new reality now. So that sort of like, the angst of it is, when it's really cleaned up, it's just totally faded. So well, there you go. 1 degree.
Yeah, there you go. That was cool.
Everybody.
You did. So congratulations if you align with this episode.
Yeah, congratulations. Honestly, yeah. Hey, how about buying me a cup of coffee?
Holla.
So you can get her.
You literally owe me a cup. You literally owe me a cup of coffee after this episode.
That was worth the price of a cup of coffee. I promise you. That was worth the price of a cup of coffee. But the stuff I've gone through to get the 1 degree of sauce. And my consciousness dragged. Okay, here they come. Let's just buy my girl a cup of coffee. So,
yes, thank
awesome.
you. And you can find Georgia and all of her work if you need extra assistance and de-anchoring. Circleevolution.com.
Circleevolution.com. It's still amazing to have a session with them because obviously when you work directly with them, they really get in. They're gonna they're gonna delete those files like very actively in the session and stuff, and also a lot of times they're very helpful at helping people to understand which files they want to invite to have deleted, like which files should go, like, because a lot of times we're caught in the story where it's like, why doesn't Trevor love me? And the focus is on like how to make Trevor love me, but it's like
the fact that you feel unworthy and you need to delete the files.
It could be that, or whatever it is. You could be holding consciousness for the healing of the divine masculine. Who even knows? But they'll really hone in on that and then like get on with that delete file stuff. So awesome.
We love you all.
Yes.
We'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Bye.